What if I told you there's a way to become confident speaking Japanese in just 2 weeks? Hi, it's Alpaca. I'm your native Japanese coach. Have you ever thought I can't really have conversations in Japanese because I don't know enough vocabulary? Actually, that's completely wrong. Today, I'm gonna show you 7 simple steps to confidently start speaking Japanese in just 2 weeks using Gemini. All you have to do is copy the steps exactly, so make sure you watch until the end and transform how you learn Japanese over the next 2 weeks. Step 1. Chat with AI in English. Wait, English? You might be thinking, why English? Shouldn't I be memorizing Japanese words first? Here's the truth. The biggest reason you can't speak Japanese is not that your Japanese level is too low. It's because you don't know what to talk about in the first place. For example, if a Japanese friend suddenly asks you, tell me about yourself, could you provide an interesting answer immediately? Even in English, you'd probably be like, honestly, I don't know what to say. Here's a key point. If you can say it in English, you definitely can't say it in Japanese. But the truth is, it's not that you have nothing to talk about. You just don't realize what kinds of conversations you naturally have with your family, friends, or coworkers every day. First, open Gemini and simply talk to it in English about your everyday conversations. Oh, I actually brag to my friends all the time about how I can cook Japanese food, or wait, I only talk to my coworkers about work. Maybe I actually like my job more than I thought. Little by little, you start to see your own habits, favorite topics, and go-to stories more clearly. So let's go find them. First, open Gemini and tap this icon in the bottom right corner. This will take you into live mode, and then tap the camera button in the bottom left. Hi, I'm going to talk about this story, my favorite one. So could you keep answering briefly?
That's an akobeko. It's a traditional Japanese papier-mâché cow from the Fukushima region. What do you like most about it?
Obviously this design, like red colors, these stripes, like red lines, and look these charming eyes, very cute. And I love this motion as well. I got this from like a Fukushima, I'm obviously, but like at souvenir shop, and to remember the memory in Fukushima.
The nodding motion is definitely one of the most endearing features. It's a wonderful keepsake to remind you of your time in Fukushima. Do you have any other interesting souvenirs from your travels?
Not really, but when I went to like a restaurant in Fukushima, there's a massive sculpture of this like akabeko, and it has like a golden color and like a bigger head.
That golden version sounds incredibly unique and a fun sight to see.
In my case, without even recognizing it, I found myself looking at old souvenirs and passionately talking about past trips. And that was the topic I should actually be talking about. The very difficult words you keep trying to memorize over and over again like a zombie. Are those really words you are going to use in your actual life? If that made you go, wait, that's me, then simply running towards JUPT N4, N3, N2, and N1 may be a completely meaningless way to study. If you don't know the words you will definitely use when you come to Japan, your Japanese will stay broken forever. For me, those words are things like souvenirs, memories. I can definitely use them tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and anytime I want to brag to my friends. But for someone who doesn't really travel or buy souvenirs, those words might be just as unnecessary as studying random N1 vocabulary. Everyone's lifestyle, interest, and personality are completely different. That means the words you truly need are completely different from person to person. So instead of memorizing random words from random videos that happen to show up on YouTube, focus on the words directly connected to you tomorrow. Step 2. Create your own vocabulary list. Once you know what topics you actually want to talk about, it's time to prepare the knife and pen to cook them properly. And by that, I mean your words. Using the topics Gemini summarized for you in step 1, give it this instruction. Create a table of 10 key vocabulary words needed to discuss the content we just talked about in Japanese. And just like that, Gemini gave me a list in seconds. These are the words I need to learn today. Words like gakse, which you often see at the beginning of textbooks like genki, are not nearly as important for me right now. For me, words like omoide, memory, or kazaru, to decorate, are 1,000 times more important. Why? Because I want to talk about travel. And if you put these words into Anki and store them in your own personalized vocabulary bank, the effect becomes even stronger. For pitch accent, make sure to use Suzuki-kun, that website where you can see the pitch accent waveforms for free. Absolutely crazy. Even Gemini can't beat that one. Step 3. Narrow reading. Now that we have the ingredients and the knife, what do we do next? Exactly. We start cutting the ingredients. Through narrow reading, we're gonna let the sentences sink into your body. Because if you just cut the ingredients randomly without learning how to use the knife or how big each piece should be, you won't be able to cook properly, right? And the result? A very, very bad dish. Actually, this is the part most learners completely miss because they want to speak as quick as possible. They rush to find an online teacher and start conversation practice right away. Let me be clear. Your dish is gonna taste terrible. Like you're gonna make sushi so bad that nobody can eat it. But then, what exactly is input? It's not memorizing vocabulary lists or example sentences word for word. When I say input here, I mean reading and listening to something and actually understanding it. In other words, input means learning how to use a knife yourself and cut the ingredients into the right size. And the most powerful way to do this efficiently is narrow reading. That means reading about one very specific topic repeatedly. It's kind of like deciding, okay, first, I'm only gonna master cutting cabbage into thin strips. You know that shredded cabbage that comes with tonkatsu? It's seriously amazing, right? Okay, for example, my topic is this time is travel, so don't change that topic for one whole week. Words like omiyage, souvenir will keep appearing again and again, just in slightly different forms and situations. And even if you don't desperately try to memorize them, just by touching the same topic every day, your brain naturally starts to go, oh, hey, I've seen you before. And the words begin to stick. So first, let's ask Gemini to write the perfect text for us. Please write a natural conversational Japanese text about this topic around 200 characters. By doing this, you can instantly generate Japanese text that use the vocabulary you learned in step 2. Now read the text Gemini created for you. Wait, were you about to just read it slowly? If you do that, you'll never be able to keep up with the speed of real Japanese speakers. That's why you need to read with a timer. To improve your listening ability, aim for 200 characters per minute or CPM. Because honestly, if you don't understand Japanese at that speed with your eyes, there's no way you'll understand it with your ears. Of course, at first, even a two-digit number is totally fine. The important point is to repeat it and gradually increase your reading speed. If you get just a little closer to 200 CPM every day, your listening processing speed will change dramatically. But let's be real, using your phone timer every single time is way too annoying, right? That's where Gemini's ultimate tool, Canvas, comes in. With Canvas, you can instantly create the exact app you need for your study. So on the Gemini screen, tap the plus button and select Canvas. Then try saying this. Create a web app with an English UI to measure Japanese reading speed. Look, after waiting just a little bit, Gemini created this amazing CPM measurement app for me. And the crazy thing is anyone can make this as long as they have Gemini. This is honestly a revolution. Using it is super simple. Just copy the text you created in step 2, paste it into the app, press the button, and measure your reading speed. So, how was it? With this, it feels like you can actually keep trying every day and gradually increase your reading speed, right? Now I can already hear some of you saying, wait, Alpaca, there's no way I can make something like this by myself. But don't worry, I created a PDF that includes all the prompts I'm introducing today plus the exact instruction for creating the apps. All you have to do is copy and paste. So everyone, tap the link in the description. Sign up for my official email newsletter and send me a 3-letter message, CPM. Then just like this, you'll receive the gift right away. Use it from today and for the next 2 weeks. Make sure you actually put this method into practice. Step 4. Narrow listening. After reading practice, we still don't jump straight into speaking practice. Next comes listening. Why? Because Japanese intonation is bloody difficult, right? So first, you need to carefully check how the sounds actually change. In fact, some of you watching this might not even be saying konnichiwa with correct intonation. If you don't understand these sound changes properly, no matter how many words you memorize, You won't be able to actually catch them when you hear them. To train your ears to notice these changes, the most effective method is something I always talk about, listening at a slower speed. But unfortunately, I can't personally record and deliver the exact sentences you created today for every single one of you. So this time, let's ask Gemini's sibling for help. We're gonna use Google AI Studio. It seems the app version can only be used from July, so for now, search Google AI Studio on Google, open it, click Models, and look for Speech and Music. Then paste the text you created in step 2 and ask it to read the text out loud. If you want to understand the intonation even more deeply, definitely use Suzuki-kun again. The reason I was able to speak English so well is that I worked extremely hard on my pronunciation. Language is sound and language is sound change. If you don't fully understand how the sounds change, your Japanese will not improve. If you want to graduate from saying konnichiwa in a way that sounds unnatural, this is the part you really need to focus on. Once those sound changes have fully sunk in, bring the audio back to normal and try shadowing it. Every sentence you're practicing here is something you can use tomorrow. So compared to shadowing random sentences you found somewhere on the internet, this is 1,000 times more effective. Step 5. 1 minute speech. Finally, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Now we finally move into output. Talk to Gemini for 1 minute about how much you love traveling. Even if you make mistakes, no one is gonna laugh at you. So be brave and just keep talking for 1 minute. Don't stop, just speak. Like before, select canvas and try saying this. Create a 1 minute speech practice app with an English UI. Press the button and try giving a 1 minute speech. 先週、福島に行きました。そこで、お土産の店で、赤い赤べこを買った。So, how was it? And honestly, I'm nowhere near fluent. But you can see that I'm desperately trying to use the words I learned in step 2, forcing yourself to actually say the words you just learned out loud. This process is a shortcut to truly speaking Japanese. Nobody can do this well from the beginning. Repetition is everything. So try it again and again and again. And this is exactly what AI makes possible. So you are very lucky. Once you give your 1 minute speech using your current maximum ability, just copy and paste the transcript and ask Gemini to correct it. Then review the corrected version again and again. That's how your Japanese starts becoming real. Step 6. Retell with a full panel comic. It's time to push yourself even further. How? Simple. Start giving yourself less time. A great goal is to read at 200 CPM. To reach this goal, what matters is how well you can think in Japanese and speak in Japanese without going through English. Because as long as you're translating everything from English in your head, speaking smoothly will always feel impossible. What you need is to see Ringo and instantly picture the object itself. Not to think, oh, that means apple. The goal is not translation, the goal is the image. If you can visualize it, you're getting closer. Image is the key. And this is where AI can help you again. A few months ago, I've said let Gemini help you with this. But honestly, ChatGPT's image generation is even better now. So let's take the travel story I talked about in step 5 and turn it into a 4-panel manga. Before you do anything, make sure you click the image generation button. Then give it this prompt. Based on the content below, generate a 4-panel comic with no dialogue. You can paste the corrected text from step 5 here. And just like this, you get the perfect 4-panel comic. Now without thinking in English at all, look only at the images and try describing what's happening. The key is to keep talking while looking at the pictures. この前、福島県に行きました。で、そこで、赤い赤べこだね。赤い赤べこをお土産に買いました。Really try to notice how much you can skip English and think directly in Japanese. And when you do that, it's honestly shocking how much more smoother the words start to come out. Step 7. Role play. Okay, everyone, I need to apologize. To be honest, Gemini's live feature is already amazing. You want your conversation to feel even a little more natural, right? So open ChatGPT and tap the voice mode button and say this. We are going to do a role play in Japanese. You're my very friendly friend. I will talk to you as a close friend about a travel memory from something I bought before. So let's begin. この前ね、福島県に行ったんだ。
福島県に行ったんだね。それで、そこで何か素敵なものを買ったの？どんな思い出があるか楽しみにしてるよ。
赤い赤べこを買ったよ。頭が動くよ。
あの首を振るやつだね。
At this point, you might be thinking, wait, do I even need friends anymore? Because no matter how badly you mess up your grammar or pronunciation, AI will never make an annoyed face. But remember, this is still just a practice match. The real goal is to prepare yourself for conversations with real people. If you repeat these 7 steps just 2 times, don't you think your speaking ability will improve a lot? In real conversations, you can even train yourself for the kinds of questions people are likely to ask you. That said, I don't want you to feel lost and wonder how to keep using this method long term. So this time, I also created a complete 6-month roadmap for learning Japanese with Gemini. If you haven't signed up for my email newsletter yet, don't miss it. Thank you so much for watching until the end today. See you in the next video.